There are things in your life that God wants you to delete, and He can't refine what you refuse to remove. Some of us are trying to walk with Jesus with old habits, old sins, old ways, old attitudes, old mentalities, and it just ain't working. We need to take those things and toss them into the waste bin, into the trash basket, and hit empty trash. Paul says in the New Testament to put off the old self, and we will talk about that in a little bit, but he doesn't mean put off the old self and then put it in the closet in a certain drawer. Then later on when you need it, you can pull it out and you can deal with it then, or reorganize it, polish it away and put it on the shelf, or try to hide it. No, he's saying to get rid of it, eradicate it, throw it away, delete it. We're going to talk about how to do that and some of the things that we need to get rid of in our lives. We're going to be able to see that in chapter 25 of Proverbs. Welcome to day 25 of our Proverbs Bible study series. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chapter. Proverbs chapter 25. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah king of Judah copied. It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and the smith has material for a vessel. Take away the wicked from the presence of the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not put yourself forward in the king's presence, or stand in the place of the great, for it is better to be told, "Come up here," than to be put lower in the presence of a noble. What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court. For what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame? Argue your case with your neighbor himself, and do not reveal another's secret. Lest he who hears you bring shame upon you, and your ill repute have no end. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver. Like a gold ring or an ornament of gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger. To those who send him, he refreshes the soul of his masters. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of a gift that he does not give. With patience, a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue will break a bone. If you have found honey, eat only enough for you, lest you have your fill of it and vomit. Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill of you and hate you. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a war club or a sword or a sharp arrow. Verse 19. Trusting in a treacherous man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. Whoever sings songs to a heavy heart is like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, and like vinegar on soda. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink, for you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue angry looks. It is better to live in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. Like cold water to a thirsty soul is good news from a far country. Like a muddied spring or a polluted fountain is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glorious to seek one's own glory. And the final verse, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Within the first few verses of chapter 25, we see the removal process, especially 4 and 5. We can see this example of removing the impurities, the dross, which is like the rubbish. It's the excess. It's the material that's unusable, and extracting the purity of the silver and being able to take that material and turn it into a vessel or a spoon. I don't know what they made. The concept is through the removal process comes the refining process and the turning into something that is precious and valuable. And Paul captures kind of the same idea, which we mentioned here just a few minutes ago in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22, but I'm actually going to read 17 through 24. So buckle up. It says, "Now this I say and testify in the Lord, that you must no longer walk as the Gentiles do, in the futility of their minds. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, due to their hardness of heart. They have become callous and have given themselves up to sensuality, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. But that is not the way you learned Christ, assuming that you have heard about him and you were taught in him, as the truth is in Jesus, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life, and it's corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed by the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created in the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. That's some pretty spectacular instruction right there. I mean, that point blank says, look, you were born into this world to be a sinner. You were of the lineage, the bloodline of Adam, and it's just in you, and there's no escaping it. You are born into sin. But through Christ, we have the option of holiness and righteousness, and we can put off the Adam part of us and take on the Jesus side of things. The old self is being corrupted by our deceitful desires. The flesh, the sinful nature that's a part of us, it's what gravitates towards everything that's antithetical to what Proverbs teaches us to actually do. That's what we are just, I don't know how to say it. It's like a magnet. We're just drawn to it, and we're to put that off, not to gratify the desires of the flesh. But similarly, before God can refine us, before that silver can be refined and turned into something precious, we have to remove all of those impurities. We have to put off the old self and take up the righteousness and the holiness of Christ. What all do we put off? We put off pride, and we see this throughout a plethora of these verses, from pride to impulsive reactions, empty talk, and boasting. I really like this one. Verse 14, like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of a gift he does not give. Somebody that we probably all know of, that just they talk highly of themselves, and kind of in this way that's fake. It's not real. You know that they're trying to make themselves somebody or something that they really aren't. It's self-boasting. Put off the lack of self-control and just a life of no self-control altogether. Verse 28, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. What do you think that looks like? That to me, that looks like no boundaries, no guidance, no leadership, recklessness, anything can happen kind of thing. And that's what it is like to live a life without self-control. It's so unpredictable. Anything can happen. There is no structure or standard. In the same way, a city broken into and left without walls is a man without self-control. Without those walls, there's no protection. There is no security. Put off harmful speech, put off revenge. We've hammered some of those concepts home many times as we've gone through Proverbs, from gossip to slander to this maliciousness of heart to talking lies and bearing false witness. We must take off all of those things like a pair of dirty clothes. Throw it into the wash. A little bit of a bad example, and I wish it was that easy. I wish we could just take it off and then be done with it. Why can't it just be that easy? I don't know. I can't answer that. Like dragging a corrupted file into the trash bin, like throwing away something that cannot come with you into a new life. The old self is corrupted. It's deceitful. It's self-centered. It's prideful. It's reactive. It is unrestrained. There is no self-control with the old self. The old self does as the old self wants to do. And Proverbs 25 and many other Proverbs before it calls this foolishness. And when we put off the old self, we take up a renewed mind. We take up a new nature. We take up righteousness and holiness and a likeness of God through Jesus. Additionally, as we put off the old self and take on the new self, the challenge is not going back and putting off the old self, but actually deleting it. Like I said, I wish it was that easy, just to take the clothes off and just be done with it, right? Put it in the trash bin and be done with it. But sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes we still struggle and we battle these sinful desires, the desires of the flesh. It's still very real. In Galatians chapter 5, let me turn there real quick. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 25 says, if we live by the Spirit, let us also keep in step with the Spirit. We've listed a lot of different things from anger to envy to sexual sin to jealousy, impurity, drunkenness, division, strife, gossip, outburst, selfishness, all of that stuff. That's what gets tossed into the trash. I'm going to toss it in the trash, okay? And then what are we going to put on? We're going to put on the Spirit. What is the Spirit? Well, we can take a look at what the fruits of the Spirit are. It's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And one other point, we don't battle the flesh with the flesh. We battle the flesh with the Spirit. We keep in step, as Paul is saying here, with the Spirit. We let the Spirit lead and guide us to the fruits of the Spirit. We can even see here in verse 15, with patience a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue will break a bone. We see patience here. We see the gentleness of our words. We see prudence in verse 17, let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill for you and hate you. Like that prudence, that like cautiousness, the understanding, like the ability to kind of like know people and know things and be aware, kind of this self-awareness that seems to be missing in our culture today. You ever kind of like walk down an aisle at Walmart and there's like there's a lot of people and like you got to get through, but like no one is moving and you got to get to this shelf over here and there's someone that's just like on their phone, like, and they see you, they know you're there and you're like, hey, I'm gonna try to get here. And they kind of just look at you like, how dare you need to get to where I'm standing right now? But even furthermore, like to just not be self-aware that you're not the only person in the store. This is a little bit of a tangent here. I get that, but I think we've probably all experienced something like that. Just this common courtesy is missing where we're just all self-aware that we're not the only people in existence in Walmart. Okay. So just bear in mind that next time that you are in Walmart to have self-awareness of other people that are trying to shop, okay? I think I'm going to call it that. There's a lot here to digest, and I mean, we could go into several of the verses and unpack them, but I think the concept here of being able to put off the old self, toss in the trash, hit empty trash. That might be actual literal something on your computer. It might be something on your TV. It might be a pattern or a routine in your life. It might be a way of thinking, your mentality, kind of like always thinking negatively instead of having a heart of joy and gratitude, which we talked about at church this Sunday. It's having the joy and the gratitude. We could really, really talk about that. I've got a lot of notes on that. But those are just a few examples of things that you might have to put off. It could be anger. It could be bitterness towards friends or family that have wronged you. It could be extending forgiveness. A lot of really challenging thoughts here that I hope has provoked you into action, into prayer, to be able to seek after those areas in your life where God is trying to say, hey, you need to deal with this. I can't get you where I want you to be. I can't give you the desires of your heart if you're not submitting to me and you're not dealing with this over here. Let's deal with it, okay? So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day today. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be in the comments below. I'm rambling at this point. See you tomorrow, chapter 26, day 26 of Proverbs. Okay. All right. See ya. Thanks for watching. Bye.